They went higher, frankly, than any previous shot they've taken. It's a research and development effort on their part to continue building ballistic missiles that could threaten everywhere in the world, basically.
That was Defense Secretary James Mattis commenting on the latest missile test from North Korea. The missile went 10 times higher into orbit than the International Space Station. The rogue regime claiming they now have the capabilities to strike anywhere in the United States. Let's bring in retired U.S. Army Green Beret Commander Michael Waltz. Colonel, thanks for joining us. So is this a game changer?
Well, the North Koreans have demonstrated now that they have the range to reach anywhere in the United States. If that missile had launched on a different trajectory, it could have reached anywhere on the continental United States. The next step is for them to demonstrate reentry capability, that the warhead could come back into the atmosphere and to miniaturize a nuclear warhead on top of the missile, and they're there. They have the ability to now hit us. So time is not on our side. They are marching towards that capability, according to our intelligence community, in the next year or two. And the other point I want to make is that they will continue to march even past once they have that capability. They're going to go to mobile launchers, which makes it harder for us to hit them. They're going to go to solid fuel, which means they can launch it faster without having to refuel on the rocket pad. They're going to go to submarines. They're going to go to multiple missiles at once. So we have to decide as a policy matter, how long are we going to give diplomatic and economic efforts with China and with the region before we decide we are going to stop the breakout capability and take it out through a preemptive
Well, there's
strike.
no doubt the clock is ticking and the threat is growing. And,
yeah.
Colonel, we just got the readout of the president's phone call with Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China. On that phone call, the White House says President Trump emphasized the need for China to use all available levers to convince North Korea to end its provocations and return to the path of denuclearization. What we heard before that is the president say he'll handle it. What do you think the president's strategy is?
Well, I'd like to see the president take this even a step further. Yes, we have to pressure the Chinese. The Chinese need to believe, and I think they do with this president, unlike his predecessors, that either you take care of it or we will. But I think there's other things we could do in the meantime. We can build an international coalition that also begins sanctioning internationally all of the Chinese entities that are continuing to do business with North Korea and truly ratchet up the pressure. We have to throw the entire kitchen sink at this thing, cyber, covert, a full range of diplomatic and economic efforts before we go to the preemptive strike, because at that point, we are either guaranteeing that hundreds of thousands of people in the region could die in a war, or we're betting and we're rolling the dice on millions of American lives, and I am not willing to take that bet, and I don't think this president is either. When
looking at some of the political response to this latest test, Senator Lindsey Graham warning we're headed to war if things don't change.
He's right. No, he's absolutely right. If we take the presumption that President Trump, and I think this is correct, will not roll the dice on a nuclear-tipped ICBM flying through the air when our ground missile defense in California and Alaska is only about 50% effective. If he is not going to allow that to happen, then either the Chinese are going to take care of it or we're going to take care of it militarily. And so far, we haven't seen the bold steps that we need to from China.
And as far as diplomatic and economic sanctions, as we watch them move forward toward more capability, you just wonder how much more we can say rather than act, and that's where we are today. Colonel Waltz, thanks for coming on with us this morning.